One's for sorrow, two's for joy, three's for a girl and four's for a boy, five's for silver, six for gold, seven's for a secret never told.
Hello, back out again on my own today. My son's at college. I just realised I think the sun is coming right behind me. Let me just get through this mud and I'll turn around. Right, now I can't see anything, but at least you can. So, today I'm just out for a little bit of exercise. I've found a gap in the rain. If you're watching this within a few days of me posting, yeah, it's just literally been rain with a very few gaps, and luckily today I've managed to find a little gap, so I thought I'm going to venture out. I'm not doing my state video today because literally with so much rain it's just a mud bath, all the area, in fact most of the country probably, but definitely down south. And my next one is right through a wood, and if it's that wet, muddy, wood paths, probably some of the worst. Not saying it isn't quite muddy here. So where am I? I'll just move on a bit further. I'm at a place called Honeysuckle Lane, which is outside of Worthing, just heading up towards Sullington. I just thought I'd test the water, see how muddy it is. It's been a while since I've been out. I think you might remember the last video at Whiston. We were literally wading through pools of water, and I thought I'm not putting Trav through that. He was really struggling. His waterproof boots got wet because the water ran over it. So I'm out. I picked, the reason I'm going to Sullington, or not actually, maybe we won't make it there. I've got to go somewhere this afternoon. But the reason I'm out here is because I thought, well, it's going to be the least muddy because it's quite hilly, it's uphill. But saying that, I'll just flick you around. That's what I've got to contend with, at least part of the way, which is, yeah, mud. But it's not that bad. It could be a lot worse, hell of a lot worse. So yeah, it's a bit of exercise. I've been going a bit stir crazy because, yeah, haven't been out so much because it is just so muddy. And yeah, as I say, mud's okay. Well, I can negotiate mud. It's when you're getting pools of water like you cannot get around. So luckily there's a gap. So I'm just going for a nice little one, a bit of exercise. I might tell you about my mudometer that I keep going on about. Yeah, have a little chat. So I'll catch you in a bit, I'll push on. Okay, a bit further on. Yeah, I was going to talk about mud. My mudometer and mud in general. What a lovely topic. Yeah, luckily I've been going through open fields because I did pick this route to avoid as much mud as possible. So it's not too muddy, but it has been raining what feels like forever. I mean, ever since Christmas. You had a really cold spell before Christmas, and that was really nice going out because when it's ice, you know, when it's really cold, the mud all freezes up. So it's actually, you don't get really much mud when it's really cold. Anyway, I'm rambling. So yeah, mud. I've watched quite a few like hiking, walking, backpacking, gear videos, all that. And you don't often see the suffering. No, it's not suffering, but you usually see sort of people out on a nice day, no rain, no mud, you know, nice walk. But in reality, like say at the moment where it's just been literally raining, and I've managed to get a gap, everything you can imagine. Let's say you walk around town, you'll see pools of water, like little dips in the road and potholes, filling up potholes, all sorts. Well, obviously out in the countryside, the paths get very muddy, the fields get sodden. So yeah, and you know, I don't mind mud, it's part of the territory. If you're going out winter walking, well, you're going to get mud, aren't you? So it's not a big deal. But if it's really, really bad, and you'll find, especially you've got paths, tractors have gone through, horse riders, cyclists, total mud-mageddon. It is so slippy, you can get really slippy. You can end up doing what I did the other week, you're going through pools of water. So yeah, it can be, I wouldn't say treacherous. The difference is, right, let's say you go out on ice, you fall over, you might get a few bumps and a bit of a bruised ego. Of mud, you are going to get covered. I mean, fine, a bit of mud on your boots, that's what you expect. And yeah, I just clean it up, give them a wash, dry them out, no problem. So, you know, I'm not like, oh God, can't do mud. But bear in mind, if you are going to go out when it's been torrential rain or in the rain, you know, I don't mind going in the rain, you are going to potentially get mud-mageddon. So my mudometer, all it is, it's nothing scientific. It's a clicker, and I just keep track of how many days, how long it's been raining. So at the moment, you know, so literally, if it's raining for 4 days solid with hardly any gaps, it's going to get a click for each day. It's my judgment call. And then if you get a dry spell, it will come back down. So at the moment, it's sitting on 9. There's no, I've not set parameters. It's not out of 10 or anything. But obviously 0 is no mud whatsoever. And it's just a crude way. So I have it on my phone, do a clicker. As I say, it's on 9. It might come down to 8. Well, that's due to rain again in an hour or two. Anyway, so, and that way I can guesstimate how bad, well, muddy it's going to be out there. So like today, yeah, bit of advice, I guess. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a bit of advice in a minute, because I'm coming to, I'll turn it around and show you, I'm coming to a muddy bit. And it's probably, sorry about that, press the wrong thing. It's probably easier if I show you. I can't see what I'm doing because I'm staring straight into the sun, hence the sunglass. Very thin path, it is muddy, but it's doable. It's not that bad, it's just a bit mud. So yeah, I'm going to go through that, and then I'll maybe have some tips, I don't know, a bit of advice, stuff like that about mud. But yeah, it's worth bearing it in mind when you're going out, you know, unless you want to wallow in the mud. I'll catch you in a sec. Okay. I'm hoping you can hear me. It's got windy. I'm sort of going up a bit now. Right, hopefully you can hear me. It's pretty good at the window seat. Right, anyway. So, I was going to muse on mud. Talk a bit about going out in the mud. A few tips, or just from my point of view, I'm not an expert, you know, just I go out walking a lot. So I thought, right, I'll keep it short, but I'll do 3 things. I'll do your clothing, your gear, weather, and then best places to go. So, right, so clothing, you know, for your clothing, you just wear what you wear according to the weather. There is another video I've got which talks about weather and what to wear, that kind of thing. So for your general clothing, yeah, whatever you normally wear. If it's going to rain, you wear a raincoat. The most important thing is your shoes, what you're wearing on your feet. Now, I am not the best one to talk because I am a bit of a fan of trail running. I'll show you what I'm wearing at the moment. Here we go. Ultra Lone Peak 6, did a little review on those. And some short gaiters, maybe you can see them. Boots, most people wear boots in the winter, they go out walking boots, so why am I not wearing boots? I love trail runners, I just find them flexible, they're easy on the ankles, that kind of thing. But I am by no means dissing boots, my son wears boots. It's just I find them just good, I love them. I'm all year round trail runners. Disadvantage with your trail runners when you're out in the rain and mud is, well, generally they're not waterproof. So I will, if it's heavy rain, I'm walking through water, that kind of thing. Sorry, I'm trying to keep out the wind. If I'm walking through water, I will get taken in freezing winter. But the thing I find with the trail runners is I get them soaked, but because I'm walking, maybe I've got hot feet, they're drying out all the time because I am walking and my feet are like central heaters. So I'm finding I might get damp feet, but they're drying out, so I'm not like squelchy all the time. Might be for a couple of minutes. What I'd advise, if you do wear trail runners out in rain mud, bring a spare pair of dry socks, because let's say if you messed up your ankle, something happened and you were stuck out there for a bit, as soon as you're sort of stopping for a length of time, then you aren't going to be heating up your feet, and that's when you have a problem. So just bring a spare pair of socks. In fact, I'd say that whatever shoes you're wearing. Now, going on to boots, yeah, great idea, great for my son. What I would say is you can have any boot you like that says they're waterproof, nothing's completely waterproof. The reason being, if it on the outside, well, total water is going to stop you breathing, so you'll end up wet, you know, potentially you'll sweat on the inside and you won't release it. So, you know, just take it with a pinch of salt. But yeah, obviously if you get a boot says it's waterproof, well, it's going to have a fair bit of protection. But as an example, other week, my other video, Whiston went out, we were wading through, Trav's got his new boots on, waterproof, which I'm not arguing with, but of course we're going through some water and it's all going over the top. Now once the danger is, once those waterproof boots are soaked, which his were, you're not going to dry out very easily. You know, he had soggy feet. Luckily we weren't going that far. So that's my advice. I'd say, yeah, wear boots if that's what you want to wear, but bring a spare pair of socks. Also, if you want to avoid getting too much mud on you, get a pair of gaiters. They're quite cheap. I've only got short ones on today, but I have got long gaiters as well if I know it's going to be really bad for going out here. That's my advice on clothing. So turning to weather. I keep track with my mudometer, give me an idea of what it's going to be like. Watch your weather, you know, check what it's going to be like when you're going out. I have got a separate video on weather, so I'd recommend watching that. Sorry, I'm plugging all my videos. Never, as I said, bring a raincoat every time. If it says it's going to rain at 2 o'clock, it might start raining at 12 o'clock. You know, don't take that weather report totally as 100%. And also, when you're out a bit in the country, well, those weather reports, sorry, I wind. Those weather reports, you know, you're going to pick your nearest town up field in the middle of nowhere on the whatever app you're using. So it's not going to be 100%, and the weather is more changeable the higher up you are, I would say. So my advice, that's my advice on weather. Don't let, and what I would say is don't let the thought about mud put you off going out to the countryside, because it really isn't. You know, there's ways and means. You don't have to come back as a mud man. And I'm sorry, one more plug. There is a video where I did have an altercation with the mud, and it's called Disaster Strike, so you can look that one up. So yeah, I have had a taste of slipping into the mud and getting covered myself, so I'm not immune. But yeah, so that's my advice with the weather. You check it, you know, bring what you need. If you don't want to get rained on, just don't go out when there's any chance of rain. But as I say, you can't 100% say bring the stuff you need. I'm sort of stopped here because you might see behind me there's loads of mud I've got to go through. It has been all right here. So my last one, stop rambling, is to do with, if you want to go out, you know it's going to be really muddy, you don't want to be like losing your boots stuck in the mud and wading through and coming back covered. Well, pick a better route. So today I've been fine, a few little bits, nothing to worry about, because I picked the route for mud. So first of all, high ground. If you go up on top of the hills, you're going to have less chance. I mean, I guess especially in the south, you've got a lot of chalk hills, the rain runs off, so you won't be so muddy. On the flip side, as you'll see, because I keep complaining about the wind, you tend to get much higher winds higher up, so there's a trade-off there. Also, I would definitely say, and this is why I'm not doing another one of my estate videos today, avoid woods. If you're going right through woods, you know, as long as you're not trespassing, you'll be on the trodden paths. They might have had tractors, horse riders, all sorts through there. Those paths can get really, really muddy. I mean, literally, and you're sort of not wading, but you're stuck in there trying to get through. So yeah, just generally avoid woods, go for the high ground. If you know a route where you're pretty certain it won't be muddy, just one thing, if you happen to live in Sussex, if you want one where I can guarantee you'll find cuckoo line, because it's almost like walking along a pavement there. The path is so good. Sorry, it's getting really, really windy now. I think I'm just about done. Yeah, so that's my advice about mud. Don't be worried. Oh, as to how, like, okay, when you've had a load of mud in the winter, that's when it builds up. You have a couple of days rain in the summer, it's not going to get that muddy. The ground's not retaining it, so it won't be overly muddy. But in the winter, if you've got like 4 or 5 days worth of heavy rain, you know that ground's going to be muddy. I would always allow a couple of days to reduce it bit by bit. So you need about 4 or 5 days of nice weather, no rain for it to start to completely clear. So yeah, don't be afraid, just think about it, but go out and enjoy your mud walking. All right, I will catch you probably when I get back to the car. Okay, back in the car. Yeah, lovely. Because I picked the right place, it wasn't too muddy. I think the bad weather's about to come back in. It started, the wind's getting up, the clouds are coming over. It's meant to rain this afternoon, so we're back to normal until at least Sunday, as far as I know. Rainmageddon again. Oh yeah, before I forget, one thing I forgot to mention about clothing, shoes, basically, for hiking. Wellies. Didn't mention wellies. Farmers wear them all the time. They must know what they're doing. Yeah, true. But what I would say is you try wearing wellies for a 12-mile plus walk and tell me you don't have any blisters. I'd be amazed. So yeah, they're great for like doing farm work and stuff like that. Maybe a short bit of dog walking. But if you're going on a long termer, the thing with those is, yes, they are waterproof, but of course it works the other way. So you will generally, you can't, get sweaty feet, don't you, when you're walking? You can't release that sweat. So you're going to start rubbing, unless you've got your foot plastered or God knows what done to it, it's going to start rubbing on you, even the most comfy wellies. So I personally would not recommend wellies for a long walk. Yeah, for a short thing, farmers use them for a reason, but not a long walk. Anyway, that side, yeah, great walk. Weather held for me. I hope it helped a bit about talking about mud. I think my main message to get across is, it doesn't matter. Just, there's no need to go and get completely, swallowed in mud and wading through it and covered in it if you just sort of plan it a bit. But yeah, don't go out when it's completely stupid. Don't ever be afraid to turn back. There's no, it's not a competition. I did, I think the other week with Trav in the end because it got so ridiculous. So yeah, but go out into the countryside, enjoy it. Bonus is there's less people as well when it's like that. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. So and I will be doing the estates thing. As I say, it was in a wood, so I chose not to go into a wood which is potentially muddy. So I'll catch you next time. Bye.